G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to DCS World with Mags, and welcome back into the cockpit of the A-18C Hornet by Eagle Dynamics. Yes, I know, another fly out in the Hornet, but what can I say? I do like the plane, and it's the one that's getting all the cool stuff at the moment, and I do like playing around with the cool stuff. So, for this particular flight, we're going to be taking a look at the new AGM-84D Harpoons. But first things first, let's get ourselves into the air. And deck clear. Gear up. And flaps up. Okay, so it looks like the first Hornets that launched are currently engaging SAM targets, or heading to SAM targets at the moment. Okay, so two's up and following, so let's configure our autopilot for this flyout. Now, the Harpoons aren't particularly difficult to set up or use, but it is easier if the plane's flying itself while I'm getting them ready, so let's bring us around under course. Just run the heading select at the moment, but we want to maintain our climb, so we're not going to hold altitude for the moment. And that is looking pretty good. Okay, so let's start warming up the Harpoons. So, HPD, that is Harpoon D. You can see it's going to take about 20 seconds for those to get themselves ready. Actually, quite a bit faster to get ready than the Mavericks, if you look at the timers for it. Okay. Sorry, I may have just edited a small chunk of the climb out there. My son came into the room. But anyways, time to get these organised. Yeah, so what I'm going to do here is set up both Harpoons for two different targets, but I will have to do this twice. So, first things first, I've just switched over to the left-hand side Harpoon. Now, I want to configure this one first. This box of information down here, this is our programming instructions for the Harpoon. So we have our mode, we have our flight altitude, which we actually want to set to low, so that's going to be around 5,000 feet. And we want our terminal setting to skim. So this is once the Harpoon has detected a target, it is going to drop down to just feet off the water and fly in incredibly low in order to avoid fire. So setting up those is pretty straightforward. I'll set up the nav point later. Anyways, next up we have the UFC, and this is where we program the missile directly. So first things first, you can see up here on the top, we've got 0 nautical miles begin search. So we want to set that to 5. So 5 nautical miles after our steer point, the Harpoon is going to start searching for targets. Now our target here is about 40 nautical miles off the southern coast of Keshem. So what I'm going to do is set our self-destruct on the missile for 35 nautical miles. This means it will blow up around 5 nautical miles off the coast, no chance of our cruise missile running into a civilian area and killing people. And last of all, we've got our bearing, which is 299 off of our steer point. Now you can see down here on the map we have a navigation mark at 299 coming from our current location. We don't want that. Our steer point is going to be waypoint 2. So select waypoint as target and hit HPTP. And if I change the range on the map here, there we go, we'll go one more. You can see here off waypoint 2 at 299 degrees, we can see a missile target mark, and you can see there's a small dash and a cross. The small dash across the line indicates the starting point for the missile, and the cross is the point where it will terminate itself. So we're going to do exactly the same thing here again. We're going to go to the second missile, which you can see has no programming at the moment. Now, this one I'm doing more for demonstration purposes and just for just so that I have the option about which order I fire in without having to program. This one is going to be 5 nautical miles to activate. And destruct on this one's 45 nautical miles, because it's 50 nautical miles on that angle from the southern Iranian coast. And the bearing is 345. So this one here is heading more north, and once again off waypoint 2. There we go. Now, if I step between them, you can see that's on 299. That one's at 345. So going for two separate ship targets. The problem is, I've tried this before. It would be nice if they remembered which, if each Harpoon remembered which one I had programmed. Now, if it remembered that information, this would be really cool, but unfortunately it doesn't. The problem with doing this is that once you fire one of the Harpoons, the second Harpoon will be automatically selected, and that Harpoon will carry the targeting information from the first one you fired. So to shoot at two separate targets, you always have to reprogram the second Harpoon, or program the second Harpoon after the first one has been released. I'm not sure if it's meant to work this way, it just does at the moment. I imagine it's probably something that needs to be fixed up, and it shouldn't work this way, but as I said, I'm no expert on this. But it is nice to program them both ahead of time anyway, and I've forgotten to activate my RWR and my countermeasures, so I better get this done. But it is nice to program them that way anyway, because it gives you the option on which target you want to launch at first, just by hitting the step button, and then you just reprogram the other one. So, 2 chaff, 2, yep, that's fine. Turn, and now let's get the RWR actually turned on, because it's kind of embarrassing that I don't have it on already, and that should be all set. Okay, so at this nautical miles to target. And we're on the money to nav point for release. Final checks. Master arm is on. Air ground is not. There we go. That would have been embarrassing. Alright, releasing at 10 nautical miles. 2 nautical miles to release point. Okay, and Bruiser. Harpoon is away. And you picked a hell of a time to start talking, radio. Anyways, as you can see here, we've got 535-299, which is not what we want for this particular Harpoon launch. That's the one we just fired. So now we're going to have to reprogram it. We've got a little bit of time, so that's okay. So UFC once again. Alright, so search range start was 5 nautical miles, so we didn't actually need to change that. Destruction was at 45, and bearing was 345. Enter. Confirm bearing change 345. Bruiser. And second Harpoon is away. So now we change the heading on the autopilot. I'm going to bring that all the way around to our return path for the carrier. We'll have to tweak that up a little bit, but we want the autopilot to handle this so we can go and see what our missiles are doing. Alright, so this is the 299 bearing Harpoon. It's already made its turn to bearing 299. And it's currently cruising along at 5,000 feet, searching for targets. That's the altitude differences between the three settings. High is 30,000 feet, medium is 15,000 feet, and low is 5,000 feet for search. And this is the 345. It looks like it's still descending to 5,000 feet at this point. Long way out to target. So I'm just going to manually tighten up our turn back to waypoint here. The autopilot has an incredibly wide turning circle, and we're going to wind up crossing most of the strait and almost clipping the edge of Iran, definitely flying in Iranian airspace. So let's not do that. Not that I think it matters too much. We're blowing up a couple of Iranian ships here, but... Alright. Let's get this heading adjusted a little. Gone, yeah, so you can see on the autopilot we've gone a little bit wide, but it's fine. Okay, back to 299, and it has picked up a target. It's dropping to sea skimming altitude. And we can see the target up in the background there. That is an Iranian destroyer. Boom. Getting awfully close. I hope this thing actually finds its target. There we go. It's dropped its nose. It has managed to find its target, so it's heading down to sea skimming altitude, so it's descending from 5,000 feet to sea level. And this one, if it has tracked onto the right target, should be an Iranian coastal anti-submarine warfare vessel. It's a bit hard to see the target and the glare in the background, but it is there. God, that looks so cool. Boom. 2 for 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and once again we have jumped our way back to the carriers for landing. So as you can see, the Harpoons are not difficult to use at all. All you need to know is what bearing the ships are on, either in relation to you to direct launch them, or what bearing they're on in relation to the waypoint that you're using as a steer point in order to get them pointing in the right direction. From there, your altitude selection at either high, medium, low, 30, 15 or 5,000 feet essentially is just picking up exactly how wide a search area you want. Higher altitude you go, the larger your search area for targets is going to be, but the more likely the missile will be intercepted by anti-missile systems. Keep in mind that the Harpoon is subsonic, so anti-missile defense systems will be able to intercept it quite easily if they get enough time to be able to react to it. But anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. This wasn't really meant to be a tutorial or anything. I was just showing off how easy it is to actually use the Harpoons. They're not a guide missile. I have had them miss before. They don't particularly like clutter. Even firing at higher altitude against targets that won't defend against anti-ship missiles, if they detect the targets too late, they can overshoot. But they are a great little missile to have in the kit bag for the Hornet for those times when you want to take out a ship, but you don't necessarily want to risk getting close enough to be shot down by the ship, like you would have to with, say, the Mavericks. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. Remember to check the video description down below for links to all of my social media, my Twitch, my Discord, my Patreon, if you'd like to help support the channel directly, and of course my Magswear store, if you'd like to check out some of my new designs. I have 2 new ones up on screen right now that are currently available on store. And until next time, remember to click that like button if you do, share and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and as always, take care.